You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Welcome. It's time for Minute to Skim It. I think we're officially in our 8th year or some ridiculous amount of time that we've been doing every single daggum Tuesday. I can remember when we started this thing, people said, you won't be able to make this last. There's no way you're going to keep doing it. And see, I'm one of those people that takes challenges really seriously. So now I will probably do it until I die. And more importantly, it's not because of the challenge. It's because I want you guys to know what's coming out this week. So does Alfie.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things. One or two.
Yeah.
Not too many.
What you'll notice is that, there seems to be this pattern that happens. Like, if you end up with a month that has what they call a fifth week, is that sometimes the fifth week is a little bit, I don't want to say weak, but it's less books than usual. This is one of those middle of the month weeks that, well, I guess the 21st isn't technically the middle, but it feels like it since we just got through spring break. That didn't count as a week. So now everyone's putting out their very best stuff, and there's definitely what's going on this week. There is some amazing stuff. I want to pre-apologize because there was so much to read. We didn't get our titles into the production staff in time. So if they're up there weirdly and or misspelled, that is on me. It's my fault.
Maybe. I was like, okay, here's a stack I'm reading.
Well, I loved it because Alfie understands me. And when I said I want to try to read everything, and Alfie handed me this giant stack, I was like going, she gets it. She totally gets it. Yeah. All right. I do want to mention one book that I did not get to read, just so that we have this out here. Every once in a while, we will back something that is only really available via Kickstarter, but only we talk about these things if there is what's called a retailer tier. So these are tiers that are designed for retailers to be able to buy it for their store to get it to you in case you missed the Kickstarter. In this case, it is a book that I've been waiting for a long time. This is Adventures of Cthulhu Jr. and Friends. Oh. It is a nice hardbound book. And you probably have recognized this series because for Free Comic Book Day 2016, 17, 18, something like that. I think it was about the same time as Hope #1 came out. They put out Adventures of Cthulhu Jr. and Friends. And it had a nice yellow cover and everyone loved it. And they were like, continue, we need more stuff. That's right. Shoop is in the house.
Hello, Shoop.
Long-time supporter of this show. And so we've been waiting for this sweet thing. It is the sweetest. This is unlike Dirk Manning's normal offerings, which tend to be more adult, like Tales of Mystery, deals with demons and demon hunting. And that has a lot of adult themes. This is aimed for everybody. So this is, especially if you like Cthulhu, if you like cartoon versions of Dirk Manning, that is an accurate representation of his personality, a little bit skeleton-y, and definitely holding ice cream at all times and covering up the bottom half of his face. Scoot McMahon did the art in this, so you know it's like really cute and chibi. Definitely consider picking one of these up at your local comic shop or get in touch with Dirk or Scoot. And grab up this awesome thing. You might also find, along with that, the cutest little plushie I've ever seen. There you go. There's your little Cthulhu Jr. And they're really soft.
I think they also some of the plushies come with pins as well.
Yeah, there's pins. You can collect along with this book. There is a little Cthulhu Jr. pin, which is around here somewhere. I will find them before later. And then also there is little Dirk Manning pins. Now you need to wear your Dirk Manning pin everywhere because who knows? I'm just going to say if you wear your Dirk Manning pin and see him at a convention, he has to give you something. He's not in on this. He will look at you like, what the heck just happened? Just say Miss Jen said. And he'll be like, oh, okay.
Just go up and make demands. I'm wearing this ring.
And then I think it would be fun to see him try to figure out what to give you. All right, so I'm going to let off.
Okay, so
it's hot back here. What the heck?
It's pretty warm. So something that I was really excited about, I got to read the first issue when it came out, like last month, Blue Book issue 2. And this is so good. And so what it's about is it has 2 stories in it. The first story will always be, or it seems like it's always going to be, based on Betty and Barney Hill.
Oh yeah, the original abductees.
Yeah, and it's so this is actually, it's based on a true story. It's probably one of the most investigated alien abduction stories, which with these people, it seems more believable almost because these people were an interracial couple during the civil rights movement. They were, members of the NAACP and all this other stuff. So you don't want to come off as crazy.
You probably would have chosen anything to not have their attention drawn to yourself.
Yeah, like
so probably this is real.
Yeah, so it just seems more believable in that sense. And then and this issue covers like where they're actually making a call to the military or the Air Force, something like that, to be like, hey, weird stuff happened. Can you I don't know, look into this? Don't know what's going on. And then the second story covers the Green Children, the legend of the Green Children in England. So it's like there'll be the Betty and Barney story and then a random little myth and legend type thing. It's really cool.
So this sounds like people that like Department of Truth.
Yes.
Conspiracy things.
Which I love Department of Truth. And I love this book. So
Or you watch Ancient Aliens way too much. That's me.
Yeah. It's always aliens.
It's always aliens.
Always.
Always. I'll blame it on them. All right. Yeah, that one, the number 1 was really hot. Dark Horse is putting out a bunch of original content that is so good. They totally up their game. This one is a Scout comic. Now, I will preface this by saying, and it's called The Wicked Ones, and that we get all of our Scout all in one big batch or 2 big batches during the month. So the release date for your Scout books at your LCS might be different. Don't be mad at them. They are totally putting them out when they get them from Diamond. We just have permission from Scout to be like, whenever we get them, we can sell them. So we show them to you guys. This actually gives you some extra time to be able to tell your LCS you want them. So this one is called We Wicked Ones. And it's way different than what I thought it was going to be. It has a really cool David Mack cover. And this book series is focusing in on a main character who actually is an assassin. The difference is that she uses magic along with her assassination stuff. It puts itself in just like a normal, like today's world. She just happens to be able to use magic, and she uses things, her magic for things like she doesn't mind meeting her clients, not even in her own house, which you would never do as an assassin, really. But she uses magic so that the client doesn't remember her face at all and doesn't remember where they've been. So they can have the whole memory of the conversation, but they have no idea where they were when they had it. They can never get back there. And so it's perfect for her. So you get to know her a little bit as a character, and she actually gets asked to assassinate a super, which is weird because up until that part in the storyline, you don't really know that you live in a world that supers exist. So, and then that gets ultra violent. So, really great, perfect art. That's the theme, I will say, at least in the books that I read this week. The art this week is up to 11. Just every book is better than the rest. Each one you see, you're like, oh my gosh, can this get any better? So yeah, if you like art and story, this week you're gonna have a hard time figuring out how to spend your money this week because it's gonna be a lot of good stuff for y'all.
Yeah, and not only just really good art, it's a variety. It's not like, oh well, this is definitely, it's all similar. It's just like, oh, something different. Like nothing is the same. Oh no, it's so hard to pick one.
I know, you're probably like me. You like to like finish up with your favorite one, but that's gonna be impossible today.
Yeah, actually, I had a lot of ones that I was like, oh, this is amazing. Speaking of amazing, this is Granite State Punk.
Been waiting for this for a while. I'm
Yeah,
super
and
jealous.
this is from Travis Gibb, and the art is great. The art is very much just like what's on the cover. And it starts off with this guy, Zeke. He's in an AA meeting, and he's doing fourth wall stuff, like directly talking to the reader, like, oh, hey, look back here. That house, yeah, that's my kind of prison because I'm under house arrest. And, you know, I've got a girlfriend who's sucking the life out of me, and just,
Wow.
life is, hard upbringing, all that stuff. And you think, okay, well, this is going to lead it into him being in a punk band or something like that. And then it's like, oh no, we're going straight into witchcraft. And it's like,
Didn't see that coming.
no. Like he just stumbled upon something and it's like, oh, you probably shouldn't have stumbled upon this. And it kind of dredged up a bunch of stuff from his childhood. And it's like, where is this going? I was not expecting this twist at all. Hey, Kristen. Or Bean. I've never called you Kristen before. That's so weird.
I know, when you see it together, it's kind of like, well, this isn't right.
But,
do you guys remember Bean? Bean used to do this too.
But yeah, I highly recommend Granite State Punk. It is a one-shot, just one and done. However, I could deal with more. It's so good. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm. And if you end up liking that, hunt down the rest of Travis Gibbs stuff. He does his own books under a company called Orange Cone. So if you look up Orange Cone Comics, I think you can find those in the .coms and hunt down the rest of his things. I'm going to do this one super fast because it's an ash can. This one, there were a bunch of Scout ash cans out this week. Ash cans are short, little teasy versions of comic books. Sometimes they're the first like 6 pages of a book, and then when you get the book, it is you get to read those first 6 pages again, and then it continues. Or like this kind of book, I'm guessing is like this is original content stuff, and then you get all new content when you get to the number 1. Because this one seems like it's just introducing this character and world. It looks like Puck, the artist, it lives in a world that is black and white. And that art, the color of art, is something that they have woven into their their lore. And it's really beautiful the way it's done. Good storytelling. And I think this is for people that love art and like it feels kind of like swords and sorcery world driven. All the Space Cadets are here today. That's right.
Give up this one. Okay, this next book is The Neighbors from Boom.
Lots of buzz for this one.
Yeah, I loved it. This is one that I'm keeping up with it. It's amazing. So immediately it opens up and you see a fairy ring, like the ring of mushrooms, and everything's like, okay, well, this is gonna be witchy. And the house that this family's living in looks like the house from Charmed, the TV show.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, okay, I kind of feel where this is going. This family, it's a divorced mom, and she's with a trans man, and this is relevant to the story. And they've moved to a town that seems very much like, I don't know that we want you guys here. That's the feel of it, and it just feels uncomfortable. Like, ooh, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a weird woman who's being like, hey, we're all neighbors here, and we all look out for each other. And it's like, please don't look out for me. This is uncomfortable the way that you're coming at me with this. But it's immediately, it's going to be witches and spells, but in today's time. And
feels like the town from Hot Fuzz. What?
Oh yeah, I guess I can see that. I guess I know what you mean. Yeah. But Yeah, and I really love the art in it, and I think it's going to be very interesting. It ends with a very much like, where I need the next book immediately.
Oh no. They left you with a cliffhanger.
They did, and I'm like, oh man.
Some of you kids didn't grow up in a world where you watch TV. If you didn't like show up for the show at 7 p.m. on Friday, then you did not get to see it.
Oh, we still have VHS recordings of shows that we were watching.
Yeah. and if you like, if your VHS like ate itself while it was recording while you were gone, then it was the end of the world because you didn't know what was going on, especially if it was a season finale. Oh my word. It was like the worst.
Oh, the show's been canceled. We just didn't tell you. Oh, cool.
It is really the reason why Firefly truly and epically failed, because there was no way to record it because it was supposed to be on. Then they had the World Series. Then it got moved to a different time every week. There's no way to know when you were supposed to be watching it. It was a mess. All right, I'm going to review a book that Kyle did not like at all. He gave it like a 2 out of 29 or something. I did not feel that way about it at all. So clearly Kyle and I have different taste in books. But there's no surprise in that because he hates every single Marvel movie and I love them all. So that's why you watch reviews. If you like the same books as I like, then you might like the books that I like too. So this one is Order and Outrage. This is from Jim Starlin and Rags Morales. I got to talk to Mr. Starlin yesterday about this book. He intends it to be 3 series of, I think, 4 issues each. I could be wrong about that. It could be 3 of 3. But I was blinded by his awesomeness when I was talking to him. So anything you tell me might be right. So in this world, the tagline for it kind of focuses in on the genetic manipulation of people, and that if you aren't part of this group of ultra rich people that in utero kind of like genetically modified themselves, then you were nobody. But it's not really the way that it's shown in the book. It's just the world in which that lives. So it's a good pitch, good hook, but it's really about people. So just know that if you're like, oh, the genetic science thing is the thing I'm looking for, that's not really the point of the book. It's really about the people that are in this world. It jumps between 2 or 3 time periods for the same character. Just know that the main character doesn't know their name necessarily, and I think that's how they're going to choose Order as a name. But she is born in a world where you're not allowed to really have kids unless it's like on purpose, and it's only for the, these people have all been shunned and put off to another part of the world in which they're just kind of like living like almost like wild animals, it feels like, or definitely like early era tribal hanging out. And so this girl's been born in a situation where sounds like the father has been culled. So if you have no purpose, i.e. that your genetics haven't been manipulated to do anything that's useful for this society, then they just get rid of you, it sounds like. There are robots in this that kind of like show up. Think of like Ed 209 kind of style robots. But otherwise it feels very much like a very basic world. We haven't really seen the ultra rich as much. So think a little bit space and a lot more like, like early people's existence. This one's definitely going to be character driven. So I can see definitely probably there's going to be, my thoughts are that there's going to be kind of a Romeo and Juliet situation that's going to happen. Just going to,
that would make sense.
Thinking about it. Yeah. So anyway, I really liked it. Sorry, Kyle. And it's not because I like Starlin. It's because I like this book.
I go with Fallen.
Ooh, I read 5 book.
Yeah. So this is Fallen, and it is one of 6. So it's going to be a little short run, which I'm happy with because I've been reading so many things that it's like, oh, I've got to catch up on 45 issues.
Oh my.
But so in this world, hold on, real quick, because there's specific pantheons.
Ooh.
Yeah, like when I originally saw the about of this, I thought it was going to be just focusing on Greek gods, but this is Olympian, Asgardian, Shinto, and Aztec gods are on Earth. They're not deities anymore. They're just like, hey, you're here. You got to deal with it. You can't influence people like you used to. It's, not allowed to do that. And they can hire wards, though, human wards that can kind of do their bidding for them, but they can't be like, oh, hey, what's up? I'm Zeus. Here's all my powers. They can't do that. And this actually takes place in New York City in 1986. So think of like that look to it. And currently there's like a drug going around that is called ambrosia, and it's supposed to make you feel like a god and just experience what gods feel like all the time.
But not have any like abilities associated with it. Okay.
Yeah, it's like the euphoria of being like, I'm all powerful, when it's like, no, you're not. It's also not good for
like
humans.
A recipe for disaster.
Yeah. And
I can fly.
Yeah, and gods can die in this. And that's going to be a thing. When I started reading, I was like, oh, well, there's no way that's, they're still gods, right? And then it's like, no. You can definitely die. So I'm pretty excited about this. Zeus's ward has to investigate some stuff that's going on, including the whole ambrosia thing. And Loki makes an appearance in this too. So which he looks kind of biker gang-esque. Yeah, so it's very interesting. I'm excited to see where this one goes to. And I always like it when they bring in gods that you know, but also it's like, oh, hey, there's going to be Shinto and Aztec gods too. So it's going to be stuff that maybe you haven't heard of before. So if you're into mythology, yes. I highly recommend it.
One thing I forgot to mention, Order and Outrage does have full frontal male nudity, just so you're not shocked when you turn the page. It is Ragnarok is doing the most exceptional work. Just, it's so beautiful. But yeah, I wasn't prepared for it all being there. So if you're reading it, around your kids, just know you're going to read it with just book closed a little bit. There were multiple books this week that had some nakedness. So. This one is a single shot out of Source Point Press called, I'm going to call it Ethers, but I'm probably wrong. It looks like Ethers to me.
That's how I would pronounce that.
This one is, if I was going to describe it more fully, I would say that this is art and poetry. The poetry tells a story, and it's not written in poetry form, but it's like the most flowery form of language you can imagine. It's very, very beautiful. It seems to be describing somebody who has already died and is experiencing just after death, kind of like wandering through, trying to figure things out. It also seems to deal with maybe an alcohol addiction, because there's stuff that I like. That was what I thought they were talking about in the language and the imagery they're using. But it's like every single page in the book is frameable as gorgeous art. And it's very impactful. Also from Source Point Press, there was a book last year that I thought was Eisner worthy called Cold with a K.
Oh, that was a good book.
Yeah. So if you liked Cold with a K, you will like this single shot also, because that one also dealt very directly with death. So pick that one up. Really great. I think I'm going to do one more because otherwise we're going to be off. I think for a little while. And this book, also Scout book by McCarthy. This is called Miracle Kingdom. I wanted to not like it right away because it deals with basically trying to out a TV pastor that seems to be doing miracles by laying on of hands. And I feel like that's been done a lot, kind of that storyline, but this one has such a big twist to it. So the main character here, think of, if you ever watched the movie The Accountant, he's a forensic accountant, but he gets, someone approaches him and hires him, not really to do accounting research, but she has been sent because somebody she knows recommended this fellow. So they must have known what she was coming for. Her son has gone to wherever this gentleman does his faith healings and has seemed to have been healed. He used to be in a wheelchair and now he's not. And she's really worried about him and wants him to have his meds. So he goes and doesn't really confront this guy, but he does go and talk to him. And it gets real interesting from there. It's not the way the story usually rolls out. So if you like to be pleasantly surprised by stories that you think are going a certain way and then they don't, I say definitely pick up this book. I loved it.
I'm down for that.
It is not helped by its cover, by the way. I just need a little something. A zhuzh.
Okay, and this is Batman One Bad Day, Ra's al Ghul. And I've only read the Clayface and the Riddler ones, but those two were excellent. This one is also excellent. I will say, though, if you are one of those people that has to go to doesthedogdieattheend.com to see if you can watch a movie, it just immediately hurts your soul.
Oh, it just didn't even like make you wait, huh?
No, it's just immediate. But it starts with kind of Roz's origin story a bit and how, like, you know, the woods and nature and these wolves saved him. So he's like, well, I'm going to save the world by getting rid of oil tycoons and people that run those types of businesses that people might say are detrimental to the environment. And obviously Batman's like, dude, you can't go killing everyone. You got to stop it. Stop it.
where do you end with that? Like I forgot to put one glass container in the recycle bin.
Oh, he's
done?
only going after like the big wigs, like
okay.
the corporate end of it. And like, oh, you're a big game hunter that's hunting lions for no reason. I got a problem with that. But so the whole book is just, hey, nature saved me. I'm going to try to save nature.
Well, this is different because we're used to seeing him being way more. I mean, this is still clearly bad guy territory, but.
Yeah, it seems like all the one bad day things make me want to sympathize a little bit with each person. And it's like, I really like that about these books. And all of them so far the art is just chef's kiss. Just every single one. It's amazing.
Yeah. It looks like it is totally a theme. I have got an ash can here called E-Junkie, and is just kind of like a warm up to the book, in which it's following this main character here that's on the front cover. He's standing up on the Dealy Whopper there. And in their world, it is exactly what you would expect from the title, that everyone is a complete junkie for experiential stuff, but always online, right? So they're all plugged in to whatever they're doing. And it's a world in which everybody's got, you know, whatever the Oculus thing is that they're calling it on, and is and totally experiencing their world in complete denial of whatever else is going on. There are people that are part of this world that aren't happy to do just like everything's happy and wonderful and all the time. They're experiential junkies in which they also like to go and experience death or experience pain or experience tragedy. And that's this guy. So, and he finds himself in a weird situation because of that, where you kind of like just think of the seedy underground that you would have to be involved in to be able to go and partake in that, because clearly it's got to be probably a black market kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's really cool, and it is all this kind of like super neon punk kind of world.
Like a cyberpunk type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Cool.
That definitely looks fun. Okay, and this is Deep Dark. And this is by David Sundra from SourcePoint. And he did the art, the writing, all of it. It's him. And this woman, Erica, she is looking for the Deep Dark. And a local is like, I'll show you where that is, but how'd you find out about this? Internet. Which immediately to me is like, there's something deeper going on with this woman. I don't know what it is, but something seems fishy. She needs to find this place for some reason. And the local man also seems like, why are you offering to bring this random woman to the Deep Dark? Which apparently it's like some place that's rooted with like ancient history, and there's like totems that Native Americans put up to be like, hey, this is a warning, don't go any further. That sort of stuff. It seems very dangerous. And of course, as with all of these sorts of things, she looks away from him for 1 second and suddenly he's gone. So now you're just stuck in the woods trying to find the deep dark on your own. And I don't know. I'm really curious as to how she's actually connected, because I feel like she is actually connected to this place in a deeper, darker sort of way.
Oh, see, I love the way you did that.
Yeah. And all the art, it's black and white, and it looks very much almost like you took a photo and kind of drew over it.
Okay.
That's almost what it looks like. But yeah, I'm intrigued. It definitely ends in a way that's like, huh. So when's the next issue out? Because I need more of this. I'm very curious as to how it's all going to go.
Yeah, I'm going to give you guys some advice, especially right now when we're living in a world of such rich comic goodness. You're probably going to have to start keeping a little notebook for what you're reading and what you like. Because the worst thing ever, is when you really love a number one and then you forget to tell your LCS and you're just expecting it to be on the rack. But when you get there, you can't remember what the name of it is or what company it was from or when it came out. Yeah, it's a struggle, but it's a good struggle to have.
And I mean, there's even apps, Comixology and stuff like that you can just write down like, oh, I want to keep track of when this is coming out every week. And some of those connect to your local LCS. So you can just have it all ready to go.
You might have to find an alternative to that, because for some reason I thought that Comixology was going away or being repurposed by the company that bought it. Just be aware that there might be some change that happens with that company. All right. Women of Marvel. This is a really exceptional set of, I think it's 4 stories. I believe that the creative teams on all of these are female, but I could be completely wrong about that. I read, because I can't read all the stories, of course, it's a big, thick book. They intend this to keep you entertained for a long time, and they usually introduce a new character. The new character was not introduced in the storyline that I read, however. This one that I read dealt with Monica Rambeau and Miss Marvel and a tiny bit of She-Hulk at the very end. She's not part of the story. She just shows up. But it is kind of like a slice of life story. Monica is trying to have a normal life by installing her own dishwasher with her cousin, which is nice. And just like you would expect, trouble shows up and makes everything very interesting. But it's really neat to see those 2 characters doing normal everyday stuff. With having to do a little bit of superheroing. There are also stories that have Cindy Moon, who is Silk, Captain Marvel, and I don't think I've ever had any of these come out that there wasn't something that was a first appearance person in it. So it's always good to pick up those issues, and it's worth it for the dollars anyway. It's a ton of pages for the price point.
Yeah, I'm actually really starting to like all the ones that it's like, oh, these are packed with a bunch of stories. And if you're not familiar with all the characters, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe I'll check out this character now that I've seen at least a little bit. Which, speaking of, DC's Legion of Bloom. Which, as you can imagine, this deals with all the, with everything that's plant-based and animal-based sort of thing. So, obviously...
so the gardener?
The gardener?
The gardener's a bad guy.
I don't remember seeing him in this, admittedly.
I don't know.
But
maybe it's a Marvel character that I'm bringing over into the DC universe.
But yeah, so obviously, Poison Ivy, Swamp Thing, Blue Beetles here, Animal, Vegetable, Mineral. It's just, there's a bunch of people. And even Batman and Woodrue. Yeah, I think that's how I would pronounce his name. But so it's gonna be like all the DC plant-based characters and animal-based characters. They're all really fun. They're all short. There's 8 stories in it. So lots of story packed into that. My personal favorite was the one with Blue Beetle in Florida Man. I believe that's what that story was called. But basically, like animal, vegetable, mineral. He's like, yeah, I want to be like #1 Florida Man. So he loses like the ability to control his powers, and he like turns into a flock of canaries, and he turns into a dinosaur, and he turns into all these weird things. It's super fun, but it's basically just ruining Blue Beetle's vacation. He's like, just trying to get some Cuban food, man. It's really fun. I highly recommend that one.
I think Blue Beetle's probably used to having his vacation ruined because he hangs out with Booster Gold. He likes to mess up timelines a lot.
Yeah, then I would assume that vacations are just consistently in peril.
Yeah, that's the life of a superhero, I'm pretty sure. Okay. This is a super thick book. This is the Milestone 30th Anniversary Special. It's a giant size special. I will tell you that I read a storyline that has the Batman Beyond character. Sorry that I don't know the person's name because DC is not my normal universe. I apologize. But also has Static in it. And it was a really cool, like almost, I don't know, has like a weird coloration to it. You'll know the art style as soon as you do that. Terry, thank you. It's got Terry in it. I just like his costume because it has the big bad ears. Looks really cool. And so, yeah, this definitely lives in a good mix of the DC and Milestone universes. Good collision between the old Milestone characters and the new Milestone characters. And it's a Static, you cannot stop what's coming. It says, I've got to try. This is not without me. So anyway, this is so big. As a matter of fact, it's almost trade paperback size. It has the prestige format binding. Highly recommend. Great set of creative team on this. Enjoy.
Oh no. There we go. Okay.
Look at all the cool stuff you got to read, man.
This is called Pop Scars. And it is from Sumerian. I'm blind. This is about this character here. Her name's Pinky, and she's gonna kill her dad. Which sounds like a spoiler, but that's the first page. She's just like, I'm going to kill my father. And it's like, okay, we're starting off strong.
It's more than like a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
Whatever.
She's just like, yeah, he deserves it. So that's what we're doing. And her dad was the producer of a movie, I think it's called Swamp Shark. And it seems like that whole thing has kind of ruined other people's lives, including people that were involved with the making of the film. So a lot of people have it out for her dad, including her. Hers is way more, well, they're all personal, but hers is like, yeah, like, you know, he ran out on us. It's not cool. But everyone else is like, oh yeah, he's done some stuff, and I'm angry about it. If you want to kill your dad, I also want to kill your dad.
She says, does it work for Asylum?
Oh, the movie thing. You know what? The Swamp Shark thing, it does come off as very Asylum-esque, but it seems like they're trying to do a reboot, and he's gonna profit a lot with this, and everyone else is like, huh. Okay. Well, we're gonna form a team. And the art is very much, it's like the cover, and it is
Neon goodness.
Yes.
I like it.
I really enjoyed this. This seems like it's going to be interesting. I had no idea what to expect when I picked this one up. I was just like, oh, bright colors.
What company is that again?
Sumerian.
Oh, Sumerian. Formerly known as
Behemoth?
Behemoth. I don't know why they changed it. They never said. But now it is under a different part of the catalog, so this was running away from me. All right. From our friends at Image Shadowline and written by Fred Kennedy. This is Dead Romans. And Nick Markinovich might be one of my new favorite artists because the art is exactly like the cover. The cover is not a lie in this case. You know, sometimes you look at the cover and you're like, oh, that art is the best. I can't wait to read the book. And then the inside's totally different. It's not horrible. It's just sometimes it's a letdown. In this case, you will not be let down at all. And for fans of the world of Britannia from Valiant, which is definitely set in the middle of the Romans period, you will love this. So this is middle of Roman occupation and the Germans fighting against them, the Germanic tribes. I think the Romans have found themselves in the German forest, which the Romans still feel like they're in control, but they probably aren't. But this focuses in very specifically on a woman queen. We meet her when she's in Waco, whatever that's called, whatever the fancy words for doing it. It's unclear. It looks like she's into it, so it's not like she's being raped as part of her captivity. But this person's like, we're gonna be together, and he even gives her his sword because he wants her to feel like she's protected, and that he's gonna come back for it later on for some reason. But what you find out in the story is that there's actually another king or general from the other side who also has designs on marrying this queen. So probably it's like a power thing, right? Maybe, or she's just the best chick on the planet. No, they're gonna kill each other for it. And so this leads to many dead Romans, hence the title. It's just such beautiful art, really, really pretty, and well written. So I recommend. It's really good.
Very nice. That was one of the ones that I also wanted to check out, so I'm gonna definitely have to read that.
Log that out today.
Okay. This is The Curse of Cleaver County.
Yeah.
I love a book about a good curse. And this is from SourcePoint. Oh my gosh, Gunn and I can't remember his first name. It's escaping me now. And
Kit Wallace?
Well, I know Kit Wallace, but I can't remember Gunn's first name.
Oh, Garrett.
Garrett, yes. So by Garrett Gunn and Kit Wallace, and from what I can gather so far, is that this is going to be about a very powerful family with some sort of family secret. Don't know what the secret could be, but it's going to be secrety. It does, like, within the first few pages, one of the members of that family is killed by a giant man in a red mask, and it's like, huh, I'm intrigued. Oh, and the art is very much like the cover. It's a tiny bit more cartoony as you read it, but it is very, very much close to this. And yeah, I don't know exactly what the secret could be, but it seems like it's a very powerful family, so you just never know. When powerful families with money and like they have like the Harlow Estates. Mm-hmm. They have a company that's Harlow Industries and all this other stuff. So it's like, okay, someone's murdering someone from a very powerful family. This is probably going to go somewhere dark.
Yeah, I think I read either the Ashcan or I got an advanced copy of the #1. And I remember thinking that it's definitely brutal and bloody and violent.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me feel like they were like, we're going to do a kind of like an Easter egg to a story you used to tell around the campfire, and like there's a hook that's involved. And you can see it, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah, I did like that it was like, I like the violent and gory books, so like they did like it even said a double-page death spread, and it was like, yeah, this is up my alley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know when Garrett and Kit and Dr. Christie sleep, or Dave Wentz usually does all their lettering, but it's just like they keep on churning out really great books. It's not to the detriment of the other stuff they're putting out. It's mind-blowingly good. Doctor Strange is back. Here's the good news for you. If last time you read a Doctor Strange book was when Doctor Strange had his own book and you never read any of the Clea stuff, you're okay. As long as you read some of the Donny Cates stuff and you realize that there's a ghost dog, that is Doctor Strange's, and you know that Clea is Doctor Strange's, or that Clea is Doctor Strange's wife, and that Clea was Sorcerer Supreme while he was missing. That's all you need to know. And even if you didn't know that, you'll get that from the pages of this book. It's really good in that it doesn't like try to, when it's sometimes clunky when they're like, let's help you figure out what happened before now. And it just feels like you just spent like 5 pages doing review for the, like when you come back from high school. Just like, I'm going to spend the first 6 weeks reviewing what I learned last year at the end. It doesn't feel like that at all. So it's very clear that Clea has a different way of approaching being Sorcerer Supreme, in that she is more of an ultra violent, putting her foot down, this is the way it is character, and likes to pick fights with other powerful beings. In this case, a powerful being from the Purple Realm. There are, as part of what happened during her tenure as the Sorcerer Supreme, there were a lot of refugee weird creatures that came over into our realm that she's been trying to help figure out how that's going to work. And so this book literally goes up from a Monday through Sunday with Strange trying to figure out what's going on and interacting with everybody that's there. It's really great. You can jump in, and it's written by McKay, who's been killing it over on Moon Knight. So if you're also a Moon Knight fan and you like the way McKay's been doing over there, you will love the Doctor Strangeness. Nice. And that cover is epic.
Okay, this is Pop's Chocolate Shop of Horrors.
Oh, that cover. No. No. I just ate.
Fair enough. But and this is an Archie horror book, so it is set in Archie universe, so familiar faces.
Pops.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's 3 stories, and all of them, and it is a one-shot as well, and 3 stories, they all take place at Pop's Chocolate Shop. And one of the stories is called Soylent Teen. So you can kind of guess the vibe that's going on, and like with pretty much anything remotely close to horror and a diner, I mean, it's people. It's always people.
Spoiler.
But yeah, well, it's called Soylent Teen.
I know there's like one person on the planet that hasn't watched the Soylent Green thing, so.
I haven't, but I know the reference.
Uh-huh.
But if you've read anything that's horror related in diner, you can kind of make an assumption.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're all lighthearted in the sense that it's it's goofy horror, if that makes sense. It's not like, it's not like deep dark or anything like that where it's like, oh, this is gonna get real bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's not like soul crushing or anything like that.
You're saying that you'll be able to sleep tonight.
Yes.
From new imprint, Maggid, I think it's called Maggid, Miggid, comics. It's part of the Source Point Press. I don't know what do you call that. It's not a sister imprint, but it's just imprint. This one is called Ben Mortara and the Thieves of the Golden Table. Okay, written by Shore. This is the perfect book for people that love Indiana Jones, especially the part about Indiana Jones where every other movie is really awesome and ties into biblical weirdness that they're trying to find and gets kind of mystical and cool. In this case, Ben is himself a hunter of archaeological things and finds himself in possession of just a little tiny piece of a map that he's just like Indiana Jones in that he doesn't necessarily own the stuff that he's taken. And this is him being approached by somebody else who has lots of money and wants to hire him to go and find the other half of this map, which has biblical / history ties. And there's other people clearly after these things. There is kind of a magical component into, like, I'll just say that when the two pieces of the map get together, they bring up an image that's showing something that's a cool object. It's not one you've heard of, probably. I'm just saying, it's not going to be one of those like, oh, it's the Holy Grail. No, it's something else. So this one, and probably it's a little bit spoilery because in the title, it's a golden table, but it has specific abilities. So
it could be any type of table, like a ping pong table.
Could be. It's sure. Sure. It's an ancient ping pong table. That's going to be it.
So this is issue 2 of Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants, which I have been following all of these. This wraps up the 100 years, and after this will be the next 1,000 years. So I think at this point, everyone's kind of like, I'm tired of this. Like, can we stop this? It's become a whole galactic war, and sacrifices are now having to be made. People are old, and they're just like, man, we gotta destroy Moira. We gotta stop these save points. We've just gotta over it.
Taggart, run!
Yeah, it's like, and there's a bunch of her too, because this whole thing is like clones and putting in genetic mutations into other mutants and making new ones. It's pretty crazy. It's been a bit since I read the first one, because I think that was the very first one I read, so I feel like I have to go back and reread that one, because I feel like I'm forgetting some things, but the whole thing, it's a lot.
So it's Sins of Sinister. So how does Sinister figure into the story?
He's kind of the one that started with the whole save points and cloning Moira and being like, okay, well, I messed up this timeline. Let's go back to the other save point.
So his point is to do it over and over again until it works out the way he wants it?
That's kind of what it feels like, but now he's kind of like, I don't even know if I killed the original mutant that I needed to kill. Did I? Because he kind of forgot that Nightcrawler was still alive.
No!
Like, it was a whole thing. And he's even been like, oh, man, I think I goofed. I created my own personal heck.
I have to say, I'm just going to give mad respect to Hickman, who started this universe that I still am super intrigued with.
It's a pretty crazy universe.
Yeah, it's if you've never read House of X, Powers of 10, you can still jump in. It's not too late. Not too late. All right. My favorite book of the week, I won't say by far because I love so many of these books, but I've been looking forward to this for a long time. So what you need to know about Exo Manowar is this. It is a man named Arak who is a Visigoth. And long ago, he came into the possession, and that sounds wrong because there's no possessing this thing. There is this cool armor that is alive named Shanhara, which is really, there is an actual soul that is imbued in this armor that is trapped. And it really doesn't matter if the armor is destroyed, which I don't think it can be, or if the person wearing it is destroyed, this being is there for all time. So that is something you get to wrap your mind around for this. The man himself, Arak, is an exceptional warrior. We saw this in the Mire run, in which he basically did not have the armor for a little while and still kicked everyone's butts. And so you see his true force, sheer force of will here. He is not on Earth at the beginning of this book at all. He's actually, in point of fact, has seen an object that is hurling toward there and has decided to put himself in the way of it, and knows for himself that this means his death. He's willing to do this to save the people there because he loves it so much. And because he's from there, but there are a lot of other things in play. There are other creatures that are definitely after the armor. I mean, it is a universal in this thing that everybody always is trying to get the armor from him. I don't think it's ever going to happen. But I will tell you that it's the writing is amazing, but it's also got Liam Sharp doing art. It is all this scale art. It will make your brain melt. It's so beautiful. If you have never, and it's written by Becky Cloonan, who's really blowing it out of the park. It's so, so good. If you have never, ever, ever read Valiant, please pick this book up. Pick this book up. Valiant has focused in on one book. They are not piling a bunch of junk in your inboxes. They're saying, we believe in this book. We've been waiting for this book. We're focused on this book. We're getting the creative team all the time they need to do the very best job they have on this book. And it shows in the book. So if you don't spend another dime this week, buy Exo Manowar. It's like, I and my own personal self will give you the same guarantee I gave last time. I told everyone to get Lemire Exo Manowar. If you buy Exo Manowar #1, this one, and you don't like it, I will buy it from you. Like, this is a 100% money back guarantee about this book. So spread the word. I guess tell all your friends. I won't prepay for it for you, but if you buy it and it's not your jam, just let me know and I will buy it off of you and I'll get it into somebody else's hands so that they can enjoy this amazing art. But I guarantee you, your mind will explode totally.
Yeah, that cover's insane. Mm-hmm. So I think I got through all of the issue ones at the very least. But this is Nightwalker's issue 3. Which if you have not read this, I highly recommend. It's very cool. Definitely very mature. These addicts and people in recovery, suddenly the doctors are gone and they kind of just have to fend for themselves. And it seems like there's vampires about. And in this particular issue, they're kind of, some of them are starting to have an existential crisis of like, oh man, maybe this is somehow my fault. Like it's karma. And like I just have to deal with it. And they're also trying to figure out like, are these vampires? What type of creatures are these? And someone in the group may or may not be infected. Wow. It's pretty crazy. I highly recommend it. And the art is fantastic. It's still pretty early on, so you can definitely just, I think we actually still have issues 2 and 3 out there. Not 2 and 3. 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Oh, and it's from Cullen Bunn and Joe Baccardo is the artist, I believe.
Cullen Bunn, who also must not sleep.
Yeah, these people just don't know how to sleep. And really quickly, this is Immortal Sergeant issue 3.
Yes.
And I love the art in this. It's simple, but it's fun, and it's like the art is fun. And it's this guy, his 35th birthday's coming up, and then his dad's like he's retiring from the force. And it seems like he's got one more case that he just really wants to figure out before he has to fully retire. And it's dealing with the family drama and just dealing with each other. And then in this issue, it seems like maybe he has an idea, like he suddenly got an epiphany. It's like, we need to go. We're going to Georgia. Just trust me on this. We're going. So he's kind of forced his son onto a road trip.
I mean, why not?
Yeah. And last but not least for me, this is the trade paperback of Creepshow. It's volume 1. It is the first 5 issues, I believe, and there's 2 stories each, so 10 stories in this. If you like the TV show, if you like the movie, it's exactly like that. And if you've never seen either, but you love horror anthologies, this is the one. It's so good, and it's just, there's even a wrestling story, which I love.
Wow.
Yeah, I keep picking up the wrestling comics.
Perfect.
But I love it.
All right, that's all we have to review today. There are tons more books that are out this week, so definitely show up first thing in the morning at your LCS to grab those up. Stick around here on The Experience. We've got some really cool stuff coming on after us. Thanks so much to Jay for being willing to just be a superhero and type in all of those titles lickety split. He's amazing. Give him some hearts and some thumbs up. Please subscribe to our show so you can see us every week. We work really hard to make sure you guys know all the things so that you can pick out the right books for this next week, know what you're doing. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.